Hi guys, so this is going to be the first in a mini-part series about living as a modern pagan. And when I say living as a modern pagan, I mean living pagan in today's world with all the modern developments, modern technologies, modern cultural aspects that we have, and kind of how we can still relate that back to what we think that pagans of ancient times did. Because it's really hard in this day and age to live truly as we feel that pagans in the past did. I mean, they didn't have electricity, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have running water for the most part, they didn't have cars, they didn't have access to a lot of the fancy stuff that we have. They used a lot of more of stuff you use at home as opposed to going out and buying a fancy athame or a fancy cauldron or a fancy whatever. And a lot of people forget that over time cultures tend to adapt and change depending on the circumstance of why the adaptation or the change occurred. A lot of times it's because it was some type of conflict, not necessarily a war, but a conflict where say one tribe who worshipped a certain solar deity went to war or had a conflict with, or even merged with a tribe who worshipped a lunar deity or another solar deity that clashed with their deity. They might have just adapted the deity of the tribe that is no longer as dominant and just kind of changed it and told the people, oh, it's still this, but but now it's really this. Kind of like when the Romans conquered the Greeks, they just kind of adapted a lot of the mythology in Greek culture to Roman culture, which is why you see a lot of cross-cultural stuff happening with the Greek and Roman pantheons. Not sure how you say that word. And we as modern pagans, modern Wiccans, modern whatever, however you want to associate your path, have, I think, at least in my generation, have managed to adapt to the world we live in. But a lot of times we're kind of met with this air of well, you just don't know what you're talking about. And it's really sad because I don't want those people and those ways of beliefs to kind of die off, but I also don't want them to kind of, not demonize, but lessen the beliefs of younger people, because if younger people aren't interested in a religion, it's not going to live. You have to continually get young people into a path in order for it to live. I think the Shakers are down, the Shakers were a religion that started in the colonial period, and they're about to die off because they don't appeal to young people, because one of the things is they don't believe in is sex, even for procreation, and young people like sex. Let's not even pretend. It's a thing. Sex exists. And young people like it. Whether or not they do it smart is another story. But they do. And if you don't allow young people to adapt the way they feel they need to and kind of draw them into your religion, it's not going to continue to survive, because no one's going to want to practice it. No one's going to find it relevant. No one's going to be interested in it anymore. And it's just gonna die off, and it's just gonna be left by the wayside. Okay, so far in this series, I've compiled a list of 8 videos that I'm going to be filming and posting, or uploading, and then making public as the weeks progress. They're going to include stuff like technology, pop culture, synthetic versus natural, full-time versus part-time, which things that I feel really kind of don't get talked about a whole lot, and I feel I could devote an entire video to actually filming and actually talking about. And I feel they will be very helpful to especially a lot of young people who are still coming into paganism, to Wicca, to witchcraft, to however you want to say it, and will make it to where they understand that, hey, they don't have to, not have a job, or they have to live completely in nature. They can't have any electricity, they can't have a car. It's trying to not make them feel like crap, basically, like I did when I first started, for wanting to use all of these modern aspects in my path. In one of my videos, it's going to be about like dorm room magic and dorm room practice, about how you can't have candles or incense in a lot of dorm rooms, or even knives, even like small ones that are like really, really tiny. You can't. When I was living in the dorms, I couldn't have any of that, but I found ways around using stuff like that to actually still have some type of magical practice. And it really helped, and it made me still feel connected, but in a modern setting. And I think that's wonderful. I believe that the god and the goddess, or God, or no God, or however you want to phrase it, allowed us the capability to produce those things to better ourselves, and to make us not so fearful, and to allow us to grow as they feel we should. Not necessarily as they feel we need to, because we don't always grow the way that they need us to grow. Like, I'm pretty sure they would not want us to grow with having as much negativity as we have in our world right now, especially in America. If you did not want to make America great again, but it happened, and we have to learn from that. We have to grow from it. All these videos that I will be uploading in a playlist that I will have on my YouTube channel, and I would recommend you start with the introduction, the one you're watching right now, and then go to the next one, and on to the next one, and on to the next one, and on to the next one, because otherwise it won't flow very well. It will still make sense, because they're still individual topic videos, and they're still going to have just one thing that I'm going to talk about, but it won't flow as well, and it would just bug me personally, because I'm kind of like an organized, like, it has to be this way, or I'm not going to get it. Like, if I read a book series, I prefer reading the first book in the series, otherwise it's not going to make sense. I won't understand the entirety of what the series is about unless I start with the first book, because that gives you all the information that you might have questions about later on. Like, I didn't do that, and I read a book. It made sense. It stood along as its own story, but then I went and reread the whole series, and I'm like, that makes more sense now. Like, it made so much more sense after I read the entire series. But anyway, so I hope you guys are having a great day, and be sure to check back every week to see more videos from me, because I have a couple of days this week where I can film a whole bunch of videos and then edit them and upload them as I can, or edit them all and then upload them all and then just make them public as I have the time. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys soon. Blessed be.